Hey everyone, this is Cal Zerdi, founder of Fearless Transformation. I help entrepreneurs, leaders, teachers, trainers, coaches double the results with half the time so that they can reach out to more people by helping them and make more money in the process. So today I'm going to be sharing with you a video that is so vital for you to become a better trainer, a better teacher, and a better instructor so that you could lead others into the vision that you see possible for them. So why would that be so important? Well, leaders are teachers. Leaders are teachers. And if you're a leader, you want to be able to learn how to be able to teach others into what they want to learn. So whether you are a project manager, whether you are an entrepreneur that you're starting your own business and you want to lead your team into a vision that you have, whether you are a teacher in school that you want to help the students to be able to learn much faster, or whether you are an executive that you want to be able to have better presentation skills so that you can demonstrate your confidence and enroll others into your ideas. We are presenting at all times. We are teaching at all times. And many of us, we are not taught how to become effective presenters. I know myself, I wasn't taught how to become an effective presenter. Matter of fact, I had to go through trial and error. For those of you who don't know my story, I have an engineering background. And after I finished engineering, I went into the entrepreneurial world and I started in automotive business, where 6 years later, I was doing so well until the economy crashed. When the economy crashed, 2 years later, I was wiped out with all my savings. I lost my business, and here I am. I'm looking at the foreclosure letter. And I needed resources, I needed help. I just didn't know what to do. Except the people who were around me, they were giving me a lot of advice. However, their life weren't together. I don't know if you can relate with me or not, but how many times you had people in your life that are giving you great advice, however, you look at their life and their life is not all together. That was my dilemma. I wanted to learn from people who have their whole life together, meaning life is a balance, and that's what was missing for me, and that's what I started my journey of personal development and journey of transformation, if you say. However, I just didn't know how to do it. All I know is I need to work on me because I need to change outside, and the only way I can change outside by changing myself. So I started going to seminars, I started reading books, listening to audiobooks, and I just was so hungry for personal development. I would do anything that any guru would say to do. I will just go ahead and implement it. And in the process, I started getting this knowledge, and now in order for me to master it, I wanted to teach it to others. And yet, when teaching it to others, that was a different ball game. I found myself, yes, I know the information. Yes, I'm engaged. Yes, I'm enthusiastic. Yes, I'm excited about it. However, I lack the skill of presenting that information to others and get people excited about it too. And that was my biggest breakdown. I don't know if you can relate to me or not. Do you find yourself, you are excited about an idea and you want to enroll others, yet you're not able to, you find others that are not excited as you are about this idea? Do you find yourself, you are so enthusiastic about a certain topic you want to teach to others, and yet you just don't know how to send that information? Wouldn't you want to wish that you can just, like some certain technology where you just put some wires here on your brain and be able to transfer everything you know on someone else's brain? Wouldn't that be great? Well, that's called teaching and presenting skills. And this is the number one tool that you can take on as a leader. And that's how to be able to present and how to be able to impact in your presentation others. So I'm going to be leading you with a series of videos on how to present. And today I'm going to show you the first 2 to 3 minutes in any presentation that you want to do, whether you're doing a 30 minutes talk, whether you're doing a 3 hours talk, or you're doing a 1-day seminar, or you're doing a 4-day seminar. I'm going to give you the recipe for how to start any presentation so that you won't have to get in your head, you won't get nervous, you won't get flustered in front of others, because most of the time, you know your material. You know, once you get into gear, that means everything's going to start flowing smooth. You know what I'm talking about, right? But it's that first 5 minutes, 3 to 5 minutes, that's the most fluster. I remember I did a seminar just not long time ago, maybe like a year ago. And I was trying something new. So in my seminars, I try to do something new all the time because I always push myself outside my comfort zone. And one of the things that I did new was I had someone to present me, to introduce me to my audience. I usually, shake people's hand and meet them in the morning and I connect with them, and then I start my presentation, which worked for me for a very long time, and I mastered that. I was so comfortable with it. However, I know that growth only takes place outside my comfort zone. So I was doing a seminar here locally in Phoenix, Arizona, and I wanted to do something different. I was like, what if I had somebody to introduce me? And guess what happened? It was a mess. I had somebody introduce me, and the whole script and the whole, step-by-step process, it was all messed up. And I was sweating, I was having sweat all over, I was sweating from here, I was rambling, I was just, flustered, and, it was just so obvious in front of my crowd that I was just very nervous. I don't know if you've been in a situation like that. Did you know that, it's interesting enough that speaking in public speaking is the #1 fear in America. Then comes swimming with the sharks, and then death from fire. So speaking in public, it's one of the biggest fears. Why? Because we're afraid of rejection. We're afraid of not being approved of. So would you be interested in learning the recipe, how to start any talk, any conversation, and you can overcome that 2 to 3, 5 minutes awkward, nervous time, so that you can just get into your material and you get comfortable? Would you be interested in that? Great. I was interested in that too. And now I'm going to share with you the recipe for how to be able to deliver an impactful introduction for any talk, any presentation, and you look confident in the process, you look impactful, and you look charismatic and charming in the same time. Sound good to you? All right, good. So let's head start with presentation, and I came with this acronym, and it's called Picasso. Okay, and as an artist, you want to be able to present yourself as an artist. This way, you look like you are not sweating as you are presenting. You are in the moment. You're present. So that's why I came up with this acronym, Picasso. So what does it stand for? Let's go for it. P stands for being present. First step is getting to be present. Getting present, I'm going to start with sharing with you before you get on stage, before you got into your introduction, before you get in front of your crowd, and then when you are in front of your crowd. So there's 2 pieces to that. Before you get in front of the crowd, and then when you are in front of the crowd. So let's start with before you get in the crowd. Before you get in the crowd, it's very important to get present, to get yourself in an emotional state that is resourceful state. So, and that's easy, and this is how I do it. I put myself in a resourceful and high peak energetic state. How would I do that? I learned this from NLP, the Pavlov experiment. With Pavlov experiment, what did Pavlov do? You know the story. They grab meat and throw it to the dogs and then ring the bell. Throw meat, ring the bell. Throw meat, ring the bell. Throw meat, ring the bell. And then after 5, 6 days, maybe like a week or so, I'm not sure exactly how many days, but now Picasso, what Pavlov did is he rang the bell, and then what did the dog do? They start salivating, story. Why? Because the dog now, they can associate the feeling of hunger to the sound of the bell. Well, we use the same technology too with us as human beings, except our brain as human beings work much faster than the brains of the dogs, luckily, right? So for that purpose, I'm going to show you how to be able to put yourself in a peak state at any time you want to before you get in front of the crowd, so that you become resourceful, you become enthusiastic, and you have more impact on others. Good? Awesome. So how to do that? Recall right now, if you are sitting, sit relaxed with feet flat on the floor and breathe for a moment. And now close your eyes and recall a time of your life when you achieved something that you feel proud about. Something that it gets you feel proud about yourself, you feel excited, you feel enthusiastic. For me, I recall automatically when I'm in my race car on the racetrack. Here I am on the racetrack. I hear the roar of the engine. I can feel the seat underneath me. I'm holding the steering wheel, and I'm seeing like I'm passing the car on my left, because I was passing them on the right, and then I go through the curve, and the car start drifting sideways, and then I come first position. That is the moment that I recall it put me in a peak performance. And as I do, I have this moment anchored in my body. Anytime that I want to get in touch with that specific state, I automatically go there and I say yes. I have a fist like that, I just have a fist, and I recall this moment, and then you say yes. And most of the time, we don't really get so in touch with that moment, so I'm going to give you a technique. So what's the technique? Ask me, what's the technique? Yeah, so what's the technique? The technique is that when you recall that moment, what I want to do right now, if you would, is make the picture bigger. Make it much, much bigger. So right now, as you're playing the movie in your head, make that movie much, much bigger, like 10 times bigger. And as you notice, your energies already start getting up. Now bring the picture closer to you, much, much closer. And as you do, you're feeling the emotions getting even higher. And now make it technicolor, very, very colorful. And now you even notice that your energy and your emotions are getting even more higher. So these are the three, sub-modalities, we call them in NLP, that you can work on the visual modality. And this way you can increase the impact of the emotions, of the response. There's a stimulus and there's a response. The stimulus is the picture or that movie you saw in your head, and the response is the emotions. You want to increase the response, you want to play with the sub-modalities of the ingredients, meaning the amounts of the ingredients that you want to put in. So now instead of having just let's say 5 milligrams of color, now you want to put like 35 milligrams of that color, make it more colorful. And instead of having it on a certain distance, bring it closer to you. And instead of just settling for a certain size, explode it, make it really, really big. And now you notice the emotions are getting higher. And as you do, hear what you're hearing. Hear the sounds, as if you are going in this process right now. Hear the sounds of that, and allow that. You notice the feelings are the emotions are getting much higher. And at that peak right there, that's when you want to anchor that emotion in your body, just like Pavlov was able to anchor the emotions of hunger with the sound of the bell in the dogs. Good? Awesome. So here's what you do. Let's do it again. Take a deep breath in. Recall that moment in your life when you felt resourceful, felt good, a happy state, excited state, high energy, peak potential, peak state. And now make that picture bigger, bring it closer to you, and make it very, very colorful. Hear what you're hearing, the sounds, who was there, who wasn't there, maybe it could be quiet. And now at the peak of these emotions right now, boom, say yes, yes, yes. And now you have it right there. Anytime you do that fist and you say yes along with it, automatically that's going to bring that emotion up, because your brain is associating that yes, the fist, with that experience right there, and automatically will experience this emotion. Good? Awesome. So the next thing you want to do is when you are in front of the crowd. So now you're in a peak state. Boom. You want to go in front of the crowd. You are feeling good. You're feeling excited. You go in front of the crowd, and most people, what they do when they are in front of the crowd, yeah, you know it. They start vomiting. This, hopefully sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. And that is a terrible thing to do. So the first thing that you want to do is that nervousness or that uncomfort, you want to put it there on the crowd, not on you. So how would you do that? Ask me, how would I do that? Oh, here's how you do it. All right, good. How you do it? Here's how you do it. You are going to stand there and you're going to get present in front of the crowd. How would you get present? By maintaining eye contact from left, middle, and right. Without saying a word, just stand there without moving your head, without shaking your head, and you just scan the room. That's what you do first. It may feel uncomfortable. However, you're going to get connected with these people. You're going to present yourself as confident, and you're going to get grounded. That's the purpose of that. You just scan the room and you just stay present. Okay? And regardless of how tempting is it that you find yourself, you want to speak right away, just trust me on this one. You just scan the room, get present with everybody, maintain eye contact. If you have problem maintaining eye contact with people, here's the technique. Say, what's the technique? Here's the technique. You start looking at their forehead. If you want to look at their eyes, just look at their forehead. For them, it seems like you're looking at their eyes, but you're looking at their forehead. That's a technique to help you to start getting connected with their eyes in the beginning. Good? Awesome. So this is what we did. So you got in a high state. Now we got in front of the group, and now we're scanning the room just for like few seconds from left to right. We're scanning the room. We're not moving our head up and down. We're just moving our head from left to right, and that's it. We're maintaining eye contact. So that's the P. All right? The second thing we're going to move on after we got present is we are going to move into how to include them. You want to ask questions. You want to ask mainly 2 questions. How many questions, please? 2 questions. That's right. 2 questions. What are the questions? So we're going to say here include. Okay, I messed it up. So I'm going to say include. You want to include the people. You want to include your crowd by asking 2 questions. How many of you, and you want to raise your hand just like that. How many of you here are, let's say you're giving a topic on, let's say, making more money, okay? How many of you here would like to make more money? And you raise your hand. You want to make it straight up, just like that, okay? You want to raise your hand. And then when you raise your hand, they raise their hand, they tell, okay, how many of you want to make more money? And people raise your hand like that. Got it. Thank you. You want to thank them. Okay? Why? Because behavior rewarded, I'm going to write this down right here. Behavior rewarded equals behavior repeated. You want to start helping your crowd, rewarding your crowd from the get-go to cooperate, to engage, and to be present with you. Does that make sense? So you say, how many of you here would like to make more money? And you raise your hand. And from Dr. Albert Mehrabian's experiment in 1972 at UCLA, we learned that over 50% of communication is body language. So just by doing your hand just like that straight, you are training them to do the same thing too. So yes, how many of you here would like to make more money? And as you're doing that, you raise your hand. Okay? Now they would follow. Okay? And then you say, thank you. And then the second question would be here, how many of you here are here not because you would like to make more money? Okay? Thank you. Okay? You thank them again. Why would you ask the also not? Because you just want to make sure that everybody here is included. Maybe some people aren't there not because they want to make money. Maybe they're for personal development. Maybe they're because they get in a fight with their wife, and then the wife said, if you don't go to the seminar, I'm going to divorce you. Okay? So you want to make sure you want to be able to include everybody in the crowd. Okay? So now that you included, now when you include both, you have 2 questions. Now you'll say, great, thank you. You are in the right place. You are in the right place. You want to tell them that you're in the right place. Good. So this is now you're including both. You're including who is here for that purpose, who is there for not that purpose. You make sure that everybody, now whoever is sitting on that chair, know that they're there. They know that you acknowledge them. You know that they're in the right place. Now they're getting present. Okay? Now, C stands for commencement. Okay? Commencement. And I just learned this word actually today from my friend who had just told me that this word means, and I'm just going to write it, commencement. Okay? I hope that I'm spelling it okay, but commencement meaning introducing your name and the topic you're going to be talking about. So today, my name is Cal Jardy, and I'm going to be talking to you today about the topic of how to make more money. Simple as that, just one phrase. My name, so-and-so, and I'm here to talk to you about this topic that's called so-and-so. Done. Okay? So far, so good? Awesome. So this is a commencement. And A stands for acknowledge. Okay? Acknowledge. So what would you acknowledge? You would say you want to acknowledge the crowd. You want to acknowledge them for being there. Many people, you will say something like that. So how many of you, okay, again, you raise your hand. So how many of you here had to put a lot of things on the side for you to make it here, to be here today? People raise their hand. How many of you, you had a lot of things that, you were concerned about, you had work waiting for you, and yet you had to make some arrangements to be here today? Okay? That's the kind of question that you want to ask. Why would you ask that? Because you want to be in their world. You want to enter their world. You want to see what is it like for them to be there and what they had to put on the side for them to be there. So that they understand that you understand them, that they had to put some effort, some stake in the game to be there. That's called the empathy. You are validating the mirror cells in their brain, saying that, oh, this guy gets me. He knows that I had to go through a lot of trouble for me being here today. So that now you can build connection and rapport. Does that make sense? Okay, good. So that's acknowledge. And then you can say, I promise you for the next 30 minutes or for the next 3 hours or for the next day or for the next 4 days, whatever that you're doing, I'm going to make this training or this time with us to be fruitful. Or I want to make this time to be worthwhile for you. Okay? So, I'm going to repeat it real quick. You put yourself with P in a high peak state. Then you go in front of the crowd. You scan the room. You get present with everybody. Then you include the crowd. How many of you here are for that purpose? How many of you here are not because of that purpose? And you raise your hand so that you encourage them to raise their hand. And then you thank them. You say thank you when they raise their hand. And then you do a commencement. My name and then the name of the topic. Very simple, one phrase. Then 4, you go into acknowledge. You want to acknowledge the crowd. You know, I commend you for being here today. How many of you here had to put things on the side to make it happen here today? Thank you. I promise that today is going to be worth your time. Okay? You're in the right place. Okay? Any language around that. Then you're going to go into your story. Okay? Your story. And this is where you are going to earn the right to speak in front of them. This is the place where your story that is going to connect with them is like, in their head, they're saying, oh, the reason why I'm listening to this person is because that story that you're going to share. Why do you have the right to talk or teach or speak about this topic? This is the story. This is very, very important. And this is where you connect with them. This is where whether they say, you know what, that guy or that girl, she had what it takes and I want to listen to her, or that story is not really, connecting with me and they probably won't connect to you. So the more this story is clear, the more impactful, the more people are going to listen to you for the rest of the talk. So what I would do first is I will write down my story. Okay, the story, there are 3 pieces for that story. The first, it doesn't have to be that you made millions of dollars in order for you to teach about how to make more money. If you are just well ahead of the crowd, just a little bit ahead, now that would earn you the right. Even if you made a lot of mess ups, that earns you right because you made a lot of mistakes, you did a lot of failure. That means now you can teach about that so people will avoid these mistakes. So that will earn you the right too. So a lot of us as teachers, as leaders, entrepreneurs, this is where we get stuck. But I haven't made millions of dollars. How can I speak about this topic? And you know what? I used to be there too. I was the guy that used to say that and complain about that and not have the courage to be in front of the camera or in front of the crowd talking about, specific topic, let's say around relationships or around money or around business, because I am not making millions of dollars at the time. So I couldn't speak about that topic. And you know what? I had my coach who actually got this engraved in my brain. And he said, are you ahead of the people that you're speaking in front of? I was like, yeah, I'm way ahead of where they are as far as that specific topic. It's like, well, that earns you the right. Okay, so what I want you to do right now is you have something to provide. You have something value to contribute. We need you. We need leaders. We need teachers. You have something to contribute. Don't be stingy by keeping it to yourself so that you just look good and avoid looking bad. This is the biggest crime you make in anybody else. This is the biggest crime you do for people who really want the knowledge that you have. This is the biggest crime you do by holding that back from them because you want to look good, because you haven't made the $1 million, because you want to be rejected. You want to be pointing a finger at and saying, oh, well, are you making $1 million? Or are you doing this? Well, you know what? You would just be authentic about that. I'm not making millions of dollars. However, here's where I'm at. Here's how much I'm ahead. Here's what I can teach you. Here's the mistakes that I did, and here's the mistakes I can help you to learn to avoid. Good? Awesome. So with this story, there are 3 pieces for that. There's a story of struggle, What is the breakdown? Okay, so I'm going to share that here, put it here, right here. Okay, there are three pieces: struggle, and you got the piece where finding solution. Okay. And then the last piece here, which is the victory. Okay, victory. So the story of struggle, where were you? And then what the breakdown that you got, you hit rock bottom, and now you start looking for solutions, okay? And then once you start looking for solutions, you learn these solutions, you learn these techniques, you learn the skills, whatever that is, and you start getting results, and you start sharing your victory. So what I share about my story is I hit rock bottom. I'm looking at a foreclosure letter. I lost my business. I lost my savings, and I'm looking around me. And what can I do right now? I can't even apply for a job because I don't have experience. I went straight into the entrepreneurial world. This is my story of struggle. Okay. Then the second is I start taking seminars. I start reading books. I start listening to audiobooks. I start investing in my success, investing in myself. Okay. And this is learning solutions, finding solutions. And as I'm finding solutions, I started finding results in myself. I start getting results. I start seeing myself, I'm getting better, I'm teaching others. And the story of victory, for the past 4.5 years, I've been leading seminars all over the country and all over the world as well. So I've been for 38 states and over 54 to 60 cities. I've been doing 10 seminars a month for the past 4.5 years. So you do the math. I have around 500 to 600 seminars training in front of people, and I've been able to touch thousands and thousands of people's lives. So what you can say is, for the past, here's a formula for that. You can say, first, for the past time, okay, so start with the time, I've helped the number of people for the past 4.5 years, I've helped thousands of people do what? Help them in what? Okay? And that's where the benefits are. Okay? The benefits for them. Okay? This is more like you can use that also as an elevator pitch. Okay? For the past 4.5 years, I've helped thousands of entrepreneurs, leaders, coaches, trainers to have the skills to train and teach and have an impact on others so that they double the results with half the time, make more money, and help more people in the process. Okay? So this is the benefits that I'm offering. Good? Awesome. Last but not least will be O. What does the O stands for? It's the outcome. That's the outcome. What are you going to get by spending time with me today? What are you going to get? This is the outcome. Or there's another acronym for that. You can call it, it's called the WIFM. What's in it for me? Okay? What's in it for me? So, for the next 30 minutes, I'm going to teach you 3 things, 3 secrets, how to avoid, getting divorced, let's say. Or in the next 2 days, we're going to talk about the powerful strategies, how to double your sales, let's say. You're going to learn about body language techniques that will help you to build instant rapport with others. Okay? So in this video, I shared with you what's in it for you, that in this video, you're going to learn about presentation skills so that when you are in front of people, you'll be able to present yourself in a powerful, confident manner so that you avoid stuttering, you avoid being nervous, and move towards being confident, assertive, and credible. Okay? So make sure when you're presenting the outcome, there are twin forces that motivate people. How many forces, please? Twin forces. What are they? Some people they tend to move away from pain, and some people, they tend to move towards pleasure. So in this case, you'll say, so for example, here, let me just put them right here. So pain and pleasure. Okay? So pain and pleasure. Right there. So you'll say, for example, in the next couple of days, you're going to start showing benefits. Yes, so the benefits. You gotta learn powerful body language so that you won't send the wrong signal for your client, and instead be able to build rapport instantly. You notice what I said? What I did? I did the pain, move away from pain, and you're gonna learn body language skills. This is the outcome. What you're gonna get, so that you won't send the wrong signals for your client. That's the pain, move away from pain, and instead be able to build connection instantly with them. That's a pleasure. Okay? So you want to go with, it depends on what's the outcomes. If it's 30 minutes talk, you won't go more than 3, just 3. The brain likes the number 3 for whatever reason it is. Don't ask me why. But you can share 3 benefits. Each benefit is what they're gonna get, how they're going to move away from pain, and how they're going to move towards pleasure. Because some people are programmed, and the word here is programmed, is conditioned to either move away from pain. This is what motivates them. And some people are motivated by pleasure and by the gain. So pain and gain, pain or pleasure. Anytime you want to influence, persuade, you want to get people to get a certain idea, you want to speak to both. And when you speak in front of public, you want to make sure to target both. Anytime you want to bring a benefit, you say, okay, so how many of you would be interested in creating instant rapport with people, let's say? And people raise their hand. Great. This technique I'm going to be teaching you today, let's say, is going to help you to stop sending the wrong message that will turn someone off without you even knowing that you're doing that, and instead you'll be able to build instant connection and trust and rapport. Okay? And if you notice, I use my hands too. Okay? That's what we call them in NLP, visual anchors. Okay? So to move away from the pain and move towards pleasure. Okay? Move away from the pain, move towards pleasure. Move away from this side that you don't want and this side you want. So whoever is watching this, they'll be able to connect. It's like, yeah, I don't want that. I want that. Or some people will say, I want that and I don't want that. So either way, you're covering both. Good? Awesome. All right, so there we go. So let's go ahead and recap it all together. You have the first 2, 3, 5 minutes talk already established. This is a script. It should be. I invite you to fill in the blanks, write it down, so that anytime you start any talk, anytime that you're called in to speak in public, whether at school, if you're a parent, you want to go speak in public, or you are in a team meeting, or you are in front of your team, entrepreneur, you're in front of your team, your sales team, or if you are in front of in a wedding that you want to talk. So right now you start by getting present. We talked about, before you walk in, you get present, you anchor that state. Then you get in front of the people, you scan the room, you get present with them. That's number 1. Number 2, you want to include the crowd. How would you do that, please? That's right, asking two enrolling questions. How many of you here are for that purpose? How many of you here are not here for that purpose? And you raise your hand. And you follow it with what word, please? Thank you. That's right, thank you. I know you know it. And then you go to commencement. Commencement, you introduce your name and the name of your topic. For the next 30 minutes or for the next 2 minutes or for the next 4 days, I'm going to be talking to you about this specific topic. Great. Acknowledgement. I want to thank you for being here today. Matter of fact, how many of you had to make some arrangements to be here today? Great. Thank you. How many of you here that maybe are still considering leaving this room and go take care of that arrangement? And that usually gets you a laugh, right? And you say, thank you, okay? And then you go into the story. So, and you can ask permission. You want to ask permission. And it's very nice to ask permission before you go to the story. You can say something like, since we're going to be spending the next 4 days together, or since we're going to be spending the next 30 minutes together, is it okay to share something about myself? Is it okay to share something about myself, okay? So you can, here, what I want to do is, I'm going to put here, ask permission, okay? I hope I'm spelling things correctly. Ask permission. Is it okay? And you raise your hand. And people, when they raise their hand, you say what? Thank you. Exactly. And then you go into the story. So whether your story, it could be a story of struggle, okay? Story of finding solution. How did you find the solution for yourself about that specific topic? And the story of victory. And the story of victory, what we talked about here is, so I'm going to put it here. This is a victory. For the past how many years or days or months, for the past 3.5 years, I've helped how many people to do what? What are the benefits? Okay? This is how you use that, and you can use that for elevator pitch as well, or networking events. And now you go into the outcome. So by the time we finish here today, or by the time we finish here in the next 4 days, here's what you're gonna learn. Okay? And now their brain is engaged. Now you're starting them with the end in mind. Dr. Stephen Covey said in the 7th Habit of Highly Effective People, one of the 7 habits is that always start with the end in mind. So that's what you're doing here. You're starting with the end in mind. And that's called what's in it for me. Okay? And now their brain is like, oh, yes, that's what I want. Now the brain start working, they start getting engaged, they know where they're gonna go. They know where you're gonna take them, okay? You know where they're gonna take them, and you're gonna start each benefit, you're gonna state the pain, and you wanna state the pleasure. So that you gotta learn, for example, assertive communication skills, so that you'll avoid conflict with people at work, and instead build harmony and affinity with people at work, okay? See that? Or if you're talking about, let's say, with your team, I'm going to be, today I'm going to be sharing with you some sales techniques so that you would stop, having problems with people not calling you back, and instead having people returning your call or building your list. Make sense? Pain and pleasure. With every benefit you share pain and pleasure. And after that, I want to add one more thing, and that is you share the agenda. Okay, the agenda. So, meaning if you're doing a long day seminar, you say the breaks, when the breaks are, what time does lunch, if there's lunch, are you going to provide lunch, where you're not going to provide lunch, about drinks and food policies, meaning like the rules that will put in place, now you can share about that. That's more like an extra step that you can take as well. Good? And what time you're gonna leave. All right, good. So this is all what I got here for you today. Now you can just fill in the blanks. You got the recipes to start any talk at any time with confidence and ease without being like me, sweating at the time when I was doing it. Good? Awesome. Well, I hope that served you. I hope that you take that on and you go and implement it, because knowledge is not power. Implementation of the knowledge is power. So you can just take that on. It's like, oh, that's pretty interesting. And then it will go away. Chances are you're going to forget about it if you don't go and implement it. So I challenge you and I urge you to go and implement it and comment on the video. Tell me what you think of it. Tell me what worked, what didn't work. What is it that you got out of it? That's what keeps me standing here in front of you and be able to share what I'm learning here with you. That's what keeps me going, is the success stories. And you know what? Not just only success, I want to hear your breakdowns. I want to hear your pain. I want to feel your pain too. I want to be on your journey that's sitting next to you, because I really do care about your success, because your success is my success and it's everybody else's success. The better teacher you are, the better leader you are, and the better world we live in. Isn't that so? That's right. Thank you. Thank you for watching this video. I honor you. I commend you for watching this video. It says something about your commitment. And I look forward to read your posts. I look forward to read your messages. And I personally respond to them. And until then, always be fearless and always be growing. Cheers.